Aristotle, the man who taught the world how to think. History remembers conquerors by blood, kings by crowns, empires by ruins. But there was one man who conquered the human mind itself. Before him, humanity wondered. After him, humanity reasoned. His name was Aristotle, and this is the story of how one mortal rewired civilization forever. The world Aristotle was born into was unstable. Greece was not an empire. It was a battlefield of ideas, wars, and rival cities constantly devouring one another. In 384 BCE, in the small city of Stagira, a child was born who would never lead an army, yet would command every army of thought that followed. His father, Nicomachus, was a royal physician to the king of Macedon. From infancy, Aristotle lived surrounded by anatomy, medicine, observation, and logic. While other children learned myths, he learned how the body worked. While others heard legends, he watched reality. But fate is never gentle with those destined to change the world. Aristotle lost his parents early, orphaned, alone, forced to grow up faster than most. And it was in that loneliness that his greatest weapon was forged: curiosity. At 17, Aristotle walked into Athens, the intellectual heart of the ancient world. There stood the Academy of Plato. Plato believed reality was an illusion, that truth lived in a perfect, invisible realm beyond the senses. Young Aristotle listened, learned, absorbed. For 20 years he studied under Plato, 20 years of debate, 20 years of discipline, 20 years of sharpening his mind like a blade. Plato called him the mind of the school. But while admiration did not mean obedience, because while Plato looked upward, Aristotle looked around. He questioned everything. If truth exists beyond the senses, why do the senses reveal patterns? If reality is illusion, why does nature obey laws? Why do animals behave differently? Why do objects fall? Why does cause lead to effect? Aristotle was not satisfied with ideas alone. He wanted proof. And that difference would divide master and student forever. When Plato died, Aristotle expected to inherit the academy. He did not. Athens feared him. He was Macedonian, foreign, too dangerous. And so Aristotle left Athens. But exile did not silence him. It unleashed him. He traveled, observed nature, studied animals, plants, stars, politics, poetry, ethics. Where Plato imagined perfection, Aristotle dissected reality. He did not ask, "What should the world be?" He asked, "What is the world?" And then history twisted, because a king came calling. King Philip II of Macedon wanted the finest mind alive to tutor his son. That son's name was Alexander. Aristotle accepted. For years, he taught Alexander logic, ethics, politics, science, philosophy. He taught him not just how to conquer lands, but how to understand power. Alexander learned that rulers must know human nature, that empires collapse without virtue, that force without wisdom is temporary. The student would conquer the world, but the teacher would conquer time itself. When Alexander died, Aristotle returned to Athens, and there he founded something radical. Not a school of beliefs, but a machine for thinking, the Lyceum. Students didn't sit quietly. They walked, debated, argued. Learning happened through movement, questioning, and observation. This is why they were called the Peripatetics, the walkers. Here, Aristotle began his greatest act. He attempted something no human had ever dared, to organize all human knowledge. Aristotle invented logic itself. Before him, arguments were chaos. After him, truth followed structure. He created the syllogism, the foundation of reasoning. If all men are mortal and Socrates is a man, then Socrates is mortal. This simple framework would dominate thought for 2,000 years. Science, law, theology, philosophy, all of it rests on Aristotle's logic. He taught humanity how to think correctly. But logic was only the beginning. Aristotle turned to nature. He dissected animals, categorized species, studied reproduction, behavior, anatomy. He identified 500 species without microscopes, without laboratories. He believed nature had purpose. Nothing existed randomly. Everything moved towards an end. This idea, teleology, would shape science and religion for centuries. Even when he was wrong, he was brilliant. Even his errors were powerful because they forced future minds to respond. Then came ethics. Aristotle asked a terrifying question. What does it mean to live a good life? Not a pleasurable one, not a rich one, but a fulfilled one. His answer was simple and brutal. Virtue, not extremes, not excess, not weakness, but balance. Courage lies between cowardice and recklessness. Generosity lies between greed and waste. This was the golden mean. Happiness, he said, is not emotion, it is activity, the constant practice of excellence. To be human is to act according to reason. He wrote about politics. He analyzed constitutions, democracies, oligarchies, tyrannies. He believed no system was perfect, only stable. He warned that democracies fall to mob emotion, that tyrannies collapse under fear, that power must be restrained by law. Modern political science begins here, not with ideology, but observation. He wrote about art. In his Poetics, Aristotle explained tragedy, why we cry for fictional characters, why stories shape morality, catharsis. He understood narrative psychology long before neuroscience. He knew stories shape morality, that heroes teach virtue, that downfall teaches humility. Every film script today still obeys his rules. But power has consequences. When Alexander died, Athens turned on Aristotle. They accused him of impiety, the same charge that killed Socrates. Aristotle refused to become a martyr. He said, "I will not allow Athens to sin twice against philosophy." He fled, exile again, and 1 year later he died, quietly, without ceremony, without glory. But death could not silence him, because Aristotle left behind something no empire could burn: ideas. Rome adopted him. Islam preserved him. Medieval Europe worshipped him. Churches built theology on his logic. Scientists built inquiry on his methods. For centuries, Aristotle was called the philosopher. There was no need for another name. And yet, here is the final truth. Aristotle was not always right. He believed the earth was the center of the universe. He misunderstood gravity. He misjudged women. But his greatness was never perfection. It was method. He taught humanity this: observe first, think clearly, question relentlessly, accept correction, that knowledge grows through reason, that truth is not inherited, it is discovered. Every classroom, every courtroom, every laboratory, they all echo with his voice. You are thinking because Aristotle taught the world how. Empires fell, kings vanished, gods were forgotten, but reason endured, because one man refused to accept myths and chose understanding instead. His name was Aristotle. and through him, humanity learned to think.